Sorry about that. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. My voice is a little bit on the raw side because I was screaming last night. Well, singing technically, but I call
Taylor
it
Swift concert.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, bad practice.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, my favorite. Yeah, a couple of things before we get all the introductions and whatnot. But although I'm pretty sure most of you know who Bree is because you probably watch the Skeptic Haven channel like I do, and I'm actually one of the regular-ish hosts on the Let's Talk show. Mikey here's been a co-host with me and will be again on the 29th, I think, of...
Mark your calendars.
Yeah. Is it September? Yeah, it might be some.
I don't know.
I'm doing one tomorrow with Eric, Skeptics and Scoundrels. So that should be a lot of fun. Anyway, so I have an important announcement to make. After a long time, I didn't have his actual email, and I probably could have found it if I really dug deep enough. But I finally got Dan Barker from Freedom from Religion Foundation booked for a show. So hopefully you guys will be able to tune in on October 5th for that episode. I don't know what that was.
Air horns.
Oh, sweet. So Dan's going to come on and share his story that he's probably done like 1,000 times. Like when Matt Dillahunty came on, he said, "I ain't doing my story again. We'll talk about something else," and we did. But it is what it is. Yeah, so that's coming up October 5th. We're foregoing our usual Lego stream that we usually do, the Bricks Beyond Belief stream that we usually do the first Saturday of every month. So I'll figure out, we'll just do a twice as long one at the beginning of November with some Lego. And I got a great Lego set. Should I spoil it? I'll spoil it.
No.
You know, as you can see, there's a ton of Lego sets right back here that have yet to be built.
I know which one it is.
He already knows. All right, I guess we're not going to spoil it.
And I'm not going to tell. You'll just have to wait.
You can try torturing him for the information. I actually recommend maybe doing that if you can.
Do not waterboard me. I will tell you. But will I be telling the truth?
But other than that, guys, that's the big announcements for today. Welcome everyone in the chat. Today, our wonderful guest is this fine lady here, Bree Badger, who is one of the wonderful volunteers for the Skeptic Haven channel, where we do those call-in shows and other cool shows like secular. Do we still do Secular Soapbox? Is that still a thing?
I know one of the shows got canceled. I can't remember which one it was though.
I think it might have been that one.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of really cool shows, so definitely check out the Skeptic Haven link, which is below in the description box. And also, if you like what you hear from Bree today, you can send her a friend request over on the Facebooks there,
and $20.
Who knows? For a mere $20, Bree will press the accept button, and you're good to go.
Fair warning, I'm not on Facebook very much.
I was just going to say, if Bree's anything like me, she really doesn't go on, or Z really doesn't go on Facebook that much at all. Like I don't, except for Messenger when I have to drop links and whatnot. So anyway, every show needs cats. Yes, Milk Nor.
Hide your kids, hide your cats, hide your dogs. They eating everybody out here.
Well, I have a jumping spider, so she's
I don't know
over there. She's molting right now, so she's all wrapped up in her little cocoon. All right. First of all, welcome to the show, Bree.
Thank you.
Bree decided that Z would like to do the show after I kind of talked her into it. Or see, I keep doing that. Talked her into it.
Yeah. You can use they them if that's easier for you.
They them? Oh, okay. That works fine. Anyway, I talked them into doing the show on the Skeptic Haven channel one day, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, you've got a story to tell. So basically, what we do here is we just basically say, "All right, start telling us a story, and if we have any ridiculous questions, we'll probably interrupt you and say, "Hey, wait a minute, we need some clarification or something like that." So,
question number 1.
Yes.
What flavor of religion were you?
I grew up fundamentalist Baptist. The General Association of Regular Baptist Churches, specifically, if you've heard of them. They're kind of big in Iowa and like kind of the northern Midwest, like Minnesota, Iowa, I think, like Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Illinois a little bit, maybe. I'm not sure entirely how far their reach extends.
General Assembly of Regular Baptist Churches?
General Association of Regular Baptist Churches.
Why is it called regular?
Because they take fiber?
Know.
I was about to say, is it the size? Is it like a large and then like?
But they would always make a big deal about it's supposed to be a small R regular, not capital R, because apparently capital R regular means something else. I don't know. It's weird. They didn't really explain much of that.
So what sets them apart? Like what's their spin on the old gospel?
Okay. So they broke off from the Northern Baptist Convention in I think it was 1929 because the Northern Baptist Convention was apparently not conservative enough.
They just went. They're like the Puritans of Baptists.
A little bit, yeah, but they were an earlier group, so
sounds like gatekeeping to me.
Yes, but as a result, they don't have like some of the more toxic shit that's in like the newer ones, the newer spin-offs, I should say. So basically, they believe they're literalists, so
7 days.
The Bible is literally true, with the exception of the parts that they believe is symbolic for
metaphorical
reasons. Yeah.
For context reasons.
Yes, obviously. Yes. So obviously the 7-headed dragon in Revelation is obviously a metaphor.
Whatever. There's one in my closet. Of course, it's made out of Lego, but hey.
I'm pretty sure I fought one of those in D&D.
Isn't that a Hydra? Where they're multi-headed?
Yeah. Oh, dude, that would suck. Oh, I would not like to fight a Hydra in D&D. Jonathan, if you're out there, I'm sorry for whatever I did. Please don't do it. Our DM. So Young Earth? Very
Young Earth creationist. 6,000 days, whatever, literal creation. Yeah. They're kind of evangelical adjacent is kind of how I like to describe them. They're not quite like modern evangelicals, but they're not too far off, like theologically.
Like not as like charismatic and like explosive as like the evangelicals are like all over man. Like they're like showing up everywhere, but they're kind of more low key.
Yeah, it's very
badger.
The Badgers are taking over.
Hey,
it's an invasion.
But yeah, so yeah, it's more like you sit quietly and you read along in the Bible because you have to verify that it's actually coming from the Bible, that they're not just making up stuff. So there's like
of course, because the Bible isn't made up.
Distrust, I guess, sort of check and verify, I guess. Like you trust your pastor, but at the same time, you're ready to like say, hey, was that right? And then like, maybe the pastor's wrong. So then the congregation has to go correct him. So the idea of like pastoral authority.
Wait.
Yeah, that's very different.
You can correct the pastor?
Yo, they vetoed that shit, son.
Yep.
It's a
so like when I hear people talking about like pastors just ordering people around and stuff and making them obey and do stuff like that, I'm sitting there like, what the hell? No.
Order. Like that would be wild.
What? yeah,
so they don't have like that curse of like the cult of personality that like a
I agree
typical
with it.
Southern Baptist
No.
church would have, where the pastor is like a
It's weird.
celebrity that walks around and his hands are magic, you know.
Yeah. And it's like the pastor doesn't kick people out of the church, the people kick the pastor out. if it comes down to that.
Well, we'll
You
be
know.
shopping for a new pastor on Amazon this evening.
That's where I found mine last week.
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother's church, they kicked out their pastor because he was not theologically aligned with them. I don't remember exactly what the issue was, but yeah, they were like, "Oh, it was some heresy or something." I'm like, "Okay." Although, given the time period, he might have been kind of Trumpian, and they're like, "No."
So I Googled, and Wikipedia tells me the particular Baptists adhered to the doctrine of a particular atonement, that Christ died only for an elect, and were strongly Calvinist. So
Oh.
so that's the regular.
Oh, regular versus
Is the,
particular. Okay, yeah.
yeah, particular
Because
was
I was
the
gonna
other
say it.
Baptist.
They were Armenian, and although a lot of them would pay lip service to Calvinism,
Okay.
like they'd call themselves like 4-point Calvinists
I
instead
thought
of
you were gonna
5
say
points.
foreplay.
No.
4-point
Yeah, and
stance Calvinist.
Yeah, it was it, and really, if you actually break it down and stuff, it's like, no, I grew up in an Armenian denomination. Words are hard.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
know.
Armenian, named after Jacob Arminius, as opposed to the Armenian people group.
Right.
Yeah,
Not from
they're spelled
Armenia.
slightly differently.
I've been to the Armenian section of Jerusalem, by the way.
Oh.
It's not where the System of a Down didn't come from this church, is what it's just saying.
No.
They're Armenian.
Yeah. But they also believe in the rapture, tribulation, and the
Hell.
hell. Yeah. None of the churches that I went to ever like heavily emphasized hell. It was more talking about the rapture, because there was a presumption that everyone in the church either is saved or is going to be saved. So why talk about hell? Nobody there is going to go to hell. So
Hell, never been there. Don't plan
exactly.
on going.
So they talk about the rapture because everyone's going to get raptured, and gone in an instant. And then so they're specifically a pre-tribulation church, which there's like pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib.
Quantum
There's a
trib.
lot of ideas about exactly when the tribulation is, exactly when the rapture is going to happen. And so
is the
they
tribulation
believe
a
that-
particle or a wave? That's just what everyone wants to know. The duality.
Good question. And the cat's back.
Google Eats is with us again.
Oh,
hang on here.
He's clicking buttons. Okay.
Your order of one pastor has shipped. You may also be interested in one Brooklyn Bridge.
Thanks, Google Eats.
Lots of tribbing.
So yeah.
Tribbles. Trouble with tribbles.
Travel with tribbling.
So I actually, as a kid, heard about the rapture and learned about the rapture before I learned about hell, weirdly enough.
I still think it would be a fucking hilarious joke. And I've seen memes on this where they take blow up dolls and they fill them with helium and put clothes on them and then have them all floating up in the air like it's a rapture. I think that would be fucking amazing to see somebody do that.
Oh, but actually, that was actually like one of my greatest fears as a kid, was that the rapture would happen and I would be left behind.
Oh.
I had a rapture dream.
Literally everybody I knew was saved and was a Christian and would be raptured up. And so if I'm left behind, I literally
You're here with us cool people.
know anyone. Yeah.
Right,
well, and it's
really
like,
want to go?
my
to
family's
heaven?
gone.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All my friends are gone. Literally every adult I know is gone. Would
Right,
be gone.
because you're in the bubble.
Yeah, because I did grow up in a bubble, and I would say it's almost kind of borderline cult, kind of. It's like right on the edge, but not quite
Right,
into
because
it.
because it's so all touching, it spreads into every single part of life and school and friends and family. And if everybody disappears, it is you and that weird kid down the street who rides his bike weird, and that is not okay.
Yeah, I mean, my parents sent me to a private, the Christian school literally run by our church,
Oh,
for
okay.
elementary school. I
Oh
didn't
wow.
really meet or befriend any kids who weren't also the same kind of Christian as me
Right.
until we moved, and I ended up going to public school for the first time in 6th grade.
That must have
How
been mind blowing.
how was that?
There was definitely a culture shock involved.
What do you mean you're not Christian like me?
The
I was
whiplash, the social
the
whiplash.
first time I heard someone just go, "Jesus," because they got startled by something, I was like just shocked, and I just stood there like in complete shock. Like I didn't know what to do or
Waiting on the lightning
say.
bolt.
Yeah, I mean, but there is also kind of funny because at the time, actually in 4th grade, some kids transferred into our school, and
You made it to
one of
4th grade? Wow.
Show off.
uh, one of the kids, they would swear, and they'd say Jesus,
Right.
kind of like whatever. And I had no idea that was what taking the Lord's name in vain was, because we heard that,
Right.
but we didn't know what any of those swear words were because no one around us said him.
Like no one
So
actually ever said
I
like
went,
the S word. You're like,
no,
is that
I
the
didn't hear
S
the word
word?
shit until I was in 6th grade.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Uh, and
Wow.
so I went home, and
Did you guys
so
like
I just
show
said
up to school
Jesus,
all
and then
dressed weird?
so I swore for the first time when I was in 4th grade, at home, and I got in really big trouble, and I had no idea why, because I
What'd
didn't
you
know that was
say?
what swearing was.
What'd you say? Was it damn?
No, I just said Jesus.
They called that cursing?
That's a
Yeah,
curse word now? Oh.
because I was like, oh,
Cursing
Yeah.
the name of Jesus. Oh, yeah.
yeah, because it's using the Lord's name in vain. You know. Um,
Oh.
yeah. So I got
Dang. I'm
But
talking
I've
about
got the Lord's name in all my veins.
his
ah,
blood. His blood. Damn.
Tastes like grape juice.
You can't say nothing. Just not even talk. Just
well,
stub your toe and bite your tongue because you can't say
we knew
nothing.
there was a B word, but we didn't know what it was.
Did you guess?
So
Balls.
as like little kids, we just kind of like,
Bollocks.
Barbie.
Booty. It's
So there was
probably
like
booty.
a year where we pretended the B word was Barbie. We kind of knew it wasn't Barbie, but it was kind of funny to
Right.
You're being
little
such a
kids.
Barbie.
That is true. I remember that. We did used to make up our own like substitute swear words because we didn't want to get in trouble. I forgot all about making up
Like,
bad
shut the
words.
front door.
Yeah, you got to get your remix on there. Don't want to
Yeah,
get
my
in
mom hated
detention.
it when my brother would do what the, he never
Cheese and
say
rice.
anything
Yeah, you
else.
never
He never
finish it.
finished it
Yeah.
because he didn't know what was supposed to finish it. But mom would get so mad at him because of the
Finish it.
implication.
It's like, don't even start. You don't even know what it is.
Yeah. It was
That's
just,
funny.
the stupid rules around like swearing and stuff. But my mom would use the word bloody all the time because apparently, as a British swear, it didn't count.
Right.
Oh, well, you should have let me get my Spanish to English dictionary. I got plenty of words in here. So
Yeah.
I guess that you do have to specify what language the bad words can't be in, because hey, you said no English bad words and I'm over here speaking Russian. It's not my fault. You didn't specify.
Yeah. I mean, if I had been around going scheisse, well, mom wouldn't
Right.
have known what I was saying. My aunt would, but
Scheiße.
because she took 4
she'd
years
tell-
of German. But
She'd
yeah,
tell on you.
she probably would actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a real Brit shows up and says, I should bloody hope not. Hi, Chaos.
Hey, Chaos.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know more about the GAR books.
Yeah.
The GARBC. So
Yeah.
what kind
I've
of led
noticed-
you away?
Well, I've noticed actually that because I went back to their website recently
Mhm.
because I was interested to see, because I ended up leaving the church before the MAGA stuff was a thing. So I went back recently to take a
Oh.
look at it, and they have changed a few things in their statement of faith to be
Oh,
much more ambiguous in terms of separation of church and state. Because
of
they
Well,
used to
course.
yeah.
draw a hard line of separation between church and state. And they would actually proudly say that is one of the things that is the defining feature of being a Baptist,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, not anymore.
because that was primarily the Baptist thing, was separation between church and state. And now they're kind of like, yeah. So
Because they
I
think
think
Project
they,
2025 is coming.
yeah.
Yeah, and they
And
went in
actually,
on
the
that.
current head of the GRBC is actually one of my former pastors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow,
And
geez.
he was actually the pastor when we left. And in part, we left that church specifically because of what happened with his associate pastor, and the fact that apparently he just needed to stand up in front of the congregation and say, "I'm sorry," and then sit back down next to his poor pregnant wife, who was probably extremely embarrassed and mortified
No doubt.
because he had been cheating on her with a teenager.
No, it
Wait,
was the
what?
devil. The devil got into his brain, and that's
Fuck that up.
why his brain was under the control of some other entity.
Yeah, it was like mom and I just showed up for Sunday night church, and it was an impromptu business meeting for church members. And turns out the associate pastor, who was also the head of the youth group, he had been having an inappropriate relationship with one of the youth group girls, who was probably either 16 or 17. They
Mm.
didn't name her. They didn't, give
Mhm.
us any specific details about who she was. But I'm pretty sure everyone in the youth group at the time was probably able to figure out who it was. And they swore up and down that nothing sexual had happened, but that it was simply inappropriate. The
You know,
parents
they say
figured it.
that a lot these days.
Yeah, the parents learned about it, and they took it to the pastor, and he took it to the deacons, and then they took it to the rest of the church. And so he stepped down from being an associate pastor. And yeah, that was it. Nobody called the cops. Nothing.
No, see, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
What about
Crazy.
the girl? Did she want more done, or?
I don't know. They didn't say.
It's none of her
Mhm.
business, I guess.
I guess. I mean,
She's just a
we
lowly
don't
woman.
know what happened to her. We don't know how far the relationship went before it was figured out by the parents.
Right.
But apparently throughout all of this, absolutely no one thought of going to the cops.
First call is to the cops.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
it's even in because I had volunteered in the nursery at that church, so I had been through the various education stuff, and part of that is it's an education regarding how to put this, not exactly how to handle sexual scandals and stuff or whatever, but more, it was focused more on just assuming that you weren't going to do it. So, but accusations can be made. So this is how you protect yourself to make sure that these accusations can't be laid on you.
Right.
It's like protect yourself. Um, and included in that was also, if you know of something that's going on, um, you should
Reported internally.
report it to the pastor. And
Yeah.
if nothing happens after that, call the police. Specifically said that, the training material did.
That's
And this
crazy.
was stuff specifically from the denomination.
Right.
Like this came from like the higher ups. Yeah. So I was sitting there in the pew at the time, sitting there going, why aren't we
Pew pew
going to the
pew. Oh, never
police?
mind.
Yeah, I know. So it's like I was sitting there having taken that training and sitting there going, no, no, you should have called the police before telling us.
Yeah.
What
But
you're talking
that's
about
not going
there
to
is a
happen.
crime.
Yeah,
Don't want to paint the church in a bad light, I guess.
I guess. Yeah. Well, no, I figured that out after the fact, but I
Mm.
mean, by that point, I already considered myself not a Baptist. I just didn't consider myself not a Christian at that point. But
Yeah.
because my whole deconversion story is a lot more. But but yeah, that was part of why we left that church in particular. Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. That's something you want to get away from.
But as far as my deconversion actually goes, people talk about the different pillars and stuff that fall. Like the pillar of faith and prayer and
Hmm.
the Bible and stuff like that. So for me, the first link that fell was prayer. And that happened when I was about 6 or 7 years old.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty young,
Very early.
actually.
So I've always had like anxiety and stuff, and I was afraid of the dark, as a lot of kids are. And so when I got scared, I would crawl into my parents' bed. Mom was tired of this happening, and so she sent me back to bed and told me that if I prayed to Jesus and asked him to take away my fear, that he would.
And
Guess what didn't happen?
you were back in the bed 10 minutes later.
No,
Covers
I did
pulled all
not
the
go
way
back
up.
to my parents' bed because that would have been admitting that Jesus wasn't listening to my prayer. So I prayed, and I felt even more afraid because nothing was happening.
Right.
Mhm.
And then the question in my head was, why isn't Jesus listening to my prayer? Because Jesus is supposed to answer my prayer,
Allegedly.
right? So
That's what the box says.
basically that was when I stopped believing in prayer. But for a long time, it wasn't really a case of me. I suppose how to put this. It was. I definitely got the feeling that nobody was listening to me,
Mhm.
but I assumed that it was just me. Prayer still worked for other people
Oh,
in my mind.
right.
Jesus just wasn't listening to me.
Because
So
you
that
obviously
led me
had done
down
something
so
to
that
I
led me
wanna-
put
down
you
the
out of
path of
favor.
believing that.
It's something. I guess you figured maybe you were out of favor with Jesus, or
Yeah, I just assumed there was something wrong with me. And so this also led me
I'm getting
to
skipped.
having kind of these reoccurring crisis of faith throughout my childhood where I would randomly just stop what I was doing and I would just pray the sinner's prayer just in case. I knew that I had, gotten saved when I was 5, like a lot of kids do. Um Sorry, I just saw the comments.
I would, since we got a break here, but Simply Secular Dave
To
in the
be
chat
fair.
says, my pastor cheated, but to be fair, it was a Baptist church.
Oh, Jesus.
Tomatoes in the chat, everyone. Tomatoes in the chat.
Yeah, Dave, you just stay on your side of the bridge, okay?
As my partner would say, we are no longer acknowledging that person. They are in timeout for several days.
I'm gonna need a fellow Canadian to go over there and confiscate that keyboard right now.
Well, it might take Ollie a little bit because he's on the other side of Canada. So Dave is
What the
closer to
hell's
me.
wrong with him?
Hmm?
Ollie's over here typing backwards. Ollie's been possessed.
Oh, okay.
What?
All right then. Oh, distracting.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, but that anxiety wasn't solely just because of the no one's listening to my prayer was just proof to me that I wasn't actually saved, kind of, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But like because the rapture was constantly being brought up in like practically every church service and stuff and everything. So whenever the house would get like really quiet, like it does sometimes, all of a sudden I'd be panicked because I'd be afraid that the rapture had happened and I was all by myself. So pray the sinner's prayer and hope that I was quick enough to get taken up too.
Right.
And then the sounds return. I'm like, oh, okay. So I mean that's a lot for like a little kid to like kind of deal with.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then when I was 12, we went on one of those youth retreats that's like for a weekend, at like a camp. So we went to, I think it would have been the camp in Minnesota, because that was where we lived at the time. Oh yeah, Bass Lake Camp. That's it. And they
Love
had
me a good
like,
summer camp.
yeah,
Big
yeah. I
fan.
went to the GRBC Baptist camps, to Clear Lake for several years, and then Bass Lake, and then we moved back to Iowa, and then I was just like, I want to be done with camp. And Mom was like, okay, that's less money I have to spend every summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, camp ain't cheap.
No, it was over
Nope.
$100 by then for a week, a single week.
I don't know about all. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You buy a lot
So,
of greenery with that.
yeah. But so yeah, I kind of ended up having like kind of like an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
When I was 12, at this youth retreat. You know, they keep you up late. They like work you hard so you're exhausted. Then they keep you up late, and they have this sermon, and they play this emotional music and stuff. And it's a lot of emotional manipulation and stuff. And I
They
just
wear you out.
I just broke. I just went down. Like, I had a massive emotional breakdown. And I remember sitting in that back room with the camp counselor. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, if this ain't enough for God, nothing will be. And from then on, I didn't really doubt my faith, or rather, I had segmented it to the point of I am either saved or I am not, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
Right.
So why worry? And it was like,
Right.
it was a relief, you know.
I just wanted to say, just so you know for sure.
Yeah.
You're not. No, nobody really is. So it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah. Sorry. But
Water break. I agree.
water break.
I want some water.
Yes, indeed, camping is.
And you in the chat, drink some water too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stay hydrated, people.
And
It's
Dino
hot today.
Bottle.
Not here. We have thunderstorms.
Iowa's state parks are free.
Nice.
No cost
For
of
camping,
admission.
you mean?
I don't. There might be a camping fee, but like just to enter the park, free, no cost of admission. It's beautiful. I didn't even know that was
beer is okay.
normal until like literally a couple years ago. Apparently, some other states actually charge you to enter their parks. It's weird.
Yeah, we have. Well, no, not to go to the park, but to camp, they do charge you.
That's why.
But they provide camping.
That's why I dress like a pack of geese. They always let me in.
Speaking of that, there's a pack of fucking Canada geese just outside of the park here. They came flying in this morning. There's like 50 of them wandering around, and the dogs keep chasing them and eating the poop.
Yay.
Yeah, that's dogs for you. Yeah, it's.
It smells so good. How can you not eat it?
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
That's how it does.
Although we did see some hummingbirds in our neighbor's flowers the other day. That was awesome.
That's cool. We got them here too. They keep dive bombing me.
Oh.
Because apparently I'm too close to their tree where they have their nest, or had their nest.
Well, as long as it's not the wasps.
Dive bombed.
Because
we got wasps and hornets here too.
Yeah, we got our wasps. They learn, oh, those are our people. We're not going to sting them.
Yeah,
but then they'll sting like other people that come by. I don't know. It's weird. It's like they recognize us, so we're not a threat. Sorry, I got distracted.
You may pass.
The ADHD is.
This is not true, by the way. A pint of syrup. No. Yeah, I mean, you could pay your pint of syrup if you want, and then just go into the woods and get yourself another pint of syrup. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they got a bunch of Ned Flanders types watching the trees.
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Looks like you're taking a little diddly diddle of my
my maple syrup.
Ned Flanders is canonically Canadian now.
Is he? Right. All right.
There is a Canadian version, didn't you? When they went up to Canada, he met his Canadian version.
Okay.
Like,
see, I was never allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump forward a little bit. But
we could. There was
what other show?
I was never allowed to watch.
What was some of the shows that after you left that you went back like I'm watching that shit? Like, what did you go back and like? I need to see what this is about. Like Power Rangers or Pokemon, like something that was just like you weren't supposed to, but then you're like, you know what? I am.
So
an adult.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that actually, it wasn't a case of I went back after I stopped believing. It was as a kid who grew up in the 90s, I was around enough people that, and like especially by the late 90s, I was in public school. So
Mm.
like I knew about these shows and I knew like about Pokemon and there's a video game and and all this. So I was just like, what? No, that's not demonic. It's not satanic. It's not whatever you think it is.
It's
Tinky Winky
hentai.
is not gay. What the hell is wrong with
He doesn't
you?
even talk.
Well,
Barney
the
isn't
doctor
gay either.
has
What the
spoken.
fuck?
Hi,
Hi,
Ben.
Dr. Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Oh yeah, I should say Dr. Ben. He earned that title, so I should fucking use it. Is what I should be doing here.
That's right.
Hey, Ben. I want Ben to remember that Ben is Ben.
That's right.
Even though you're
Used to
super
be-
cool, even though you're a super cool doctor now, you're still Ben. Damn it.
Used to be student Dr. Ben, but you could shorten the word student to stud doctor.
Doctor.
No, just
Yeah.
never mind.
Doctor.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to see. We weren't allowed to watch Barney because Barney was gay.
Of course,
although
because he's
although
purple.
I wasn't
right?
actually told exactly why.
A manly
until much
dinosaur would have been
later.
red.
I think because I didn't really know what gay meant because they never talked about that.
Been happy.
Yeah. So like to me it was happy. I was like, I don't understand, but okay. Whatever. I don't actually have control of the TV when I'm at home, so I don't have a choice. When I was of an age to watch Barney. I learned the song at the playground at school.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
love
I learned it
you,
from the other kids.
love me. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I love you. You
I learned
love
it because I
me.
worked at a record store and they came in and brought a bunch of cassettes and CDs of that fucking shit and wanted us to sell it. And I just went, get out. I shipped them out. Then the store manager gave me shit for that because I was only the assistant manager. Because we could make a lot of money on this. I go, I don't care. I don't want to have to play that in the store. He goes, oh, all right, we won't play it, but we're going to sell it. And the guy came back and we had a little
Okay,
thing on our
that's
front
long as you don't
counter
have
with
to
the
play it.
display.
Yeah.
And we made a lot of money on that. Well, they did. I didn't.
Well,
but-
yeah, that's how that works. Wasn't allowed to watch Sesame Street because it was leftist
What?
propaganda.
It
Oh,
is
right,
leftist.
of course.
It is
Yes,
leftist
yes.
propaganda. It is very buddy hug club. Everybody, let's all be friends. That is not the stance
Sharing
of the
with each
church.
other. Oh my.
Don't you be
wrong with that?
associating with them?
Exactly, because like if you actually ask them to explain what it is that is so-called leftist propaganda, all of a sudden they
Or
can't.
describe what woke means.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure my mom watched Sesame Street growing up too.
I did.
I have a 1.5-year-old. She loves the Sesame Street from the 70s.
Awesome.
That doesn't surprise me.
When Oscar was orange.
Hey, Bob,
But
I'm going to buy the letter S.
we kind of were allowed to watch Mr. Rogers, but at the same time, Mom just conveniently found ways to keep us like not in front of the TV when he was on. So I had no idea when he was on. I only ever watched Mr. Rogers when I was at my grandparents' house.
She just started vacuuming. just making all the noise in the house. It's like
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, Mom didn't like us watching a lot of TV anyway.
because that's
Generally.
that, and especially in that time period.
Because when
They
it's
literally
they
were
like,
on assault for every single show was something. It was like they really wanted like a third wave satanic panic, but they couldn't freaking find anything. So they were just
Oh.
accusing everybody of everything.
my mom is one of those that never got the memo that the satanic panic was supposed to end.
There you go.
In the
It is like we just got to keep
So,
looking, man. Satan's out here. We just gotta keep
Everything
looking.
like, and because I didn't really actually figure it out until like I was in like middle school, but I was like kind of looking back, I'm like, oh, just about anything that was popular was satanic.
Yes,
Yes.
all the fun stuff.
Yes, anything at all popular, because our focus has to be entirely on Jesus all the time. And if anything takes your focus away from Jesus, obviously it's of the devil.
Yeah, the line we got all the time was, "How does this glorify God?"
I didn't actually get
There
that
you go,
one.
right there.
But yeah.
Sesame
Indeed.
Street is indeed. Okay.
You know what? That's fair. Very fair.
Yeah, it's absolutely just to help kids in general and stuff like that.
And it's good
But
TV.
yes.
I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Sesame Street was great, man. I used to
Ages
love
well
watching
too.
that
I mean,
show.
it's like adults and kids can watch it, enjoy it.
Mhm.
But
I've really brushed up on my letters.
You know,
Elmogeddon. Elmo wasn't a thing when I watched Sesame Street. So
She's not going to get to the Elmo episodes. I cut her off before like season 10, and then I restart back to 1.
Can we add alphabetization to Sesame Street, please? Because as a manager, I desperately wish that my my coworkers knew how to alphabetize.
Yeah. Just put it on like a DVD player in the break room. Just don't say nothing. Just like, hey guys,
A goes in the F section. F's go in the X section.
There's just this thing playing back here. Maybe take a look
It's
if you
like-
think. I mean, there's some flashcards if you guys need help. A couple of.
Because I'm like,
I got some flash.
of course, I was also
Velcro
one of
and
those
felt
kids that would
test.
like obsessively alphabetize all my books and DVDs and stuff. So
That's
you
because
know.
you're a good person.
I got a lot of practice.
Hold on, by movie title or by director or by
Title.
writer or okay.
I never knew who the directors were. I didn't even know who the actors were most of the time.
I would do genre and then alphabet.
I still don't.
Because I gotta have like my anime, my sci-fi, anime.
True. Yeah,
anime,
I do have them sectioned into
anime.
like,
Fantasy.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's but yeah, so I didn't really have much in the way of crisis of faith, like or anything. Like I didn't really think much about it, like all the way up until like after high school.
Do you think being in a public school kind of helped you along the way, sort of thing, or because now you're away from like the teachings of like a religiously based elementary school?
Ironically, it made me more dogmatic, I think.
Really?
Because I was suddenly in a position where I was actually learning about evolution, and I was learning about this stuff that I had been, basically taught was, like obviously fake or whatever, because creationism shit. But so like I remember in 7th grade, I wrote like this ridiculous essay where I basically kind of went, oh, where did all the stuff before the Big Bang come from? And then I like wrote like, the stupid like, oh, Jesus is the answer, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, my mom was like so proud of me for writing that.
The Big Bang.
And
Jesus farted.
Yeah, and then I look back on it and I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucking cringe. And it's like, it's just I mean, like I learned enough to like pass the tests and stuff, but I was like, some part of me was always like, oh, this is so obviously fake and stuff, but I have to pass the test, because I'm supposed to get A's. Except, of course, I never got A's very often because I learned like pretty early on that there was no point. I just needed to get like a B, and I was good. Because a C, I'm in trouble. A B, why isn't it an A? And if it's an A, nothing.
Why isn't it an
Why
A
bother
plus?
getting an A?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I wouldn't even get like a good job. It was like, yeah. So it was just like, oh, well, just get a B because then I don't get in trouble. It's fine.
These are fine.
I think in my school days, I think the lowest grade I ever got was a C plus. I paid attention in class, I guess, as a kid. In between getting beat up.
Yeah.
I paid attention.
I didn't get anything lower than a B until I was actually in college.
Really?
So yeah. It was all B's and A's all across the board.
We won't talk about college for me.
I had my grades were great. I just kept getting suspended.
I've been to 3 different colleges.
Yeah, I've been a few myself. Yeah. Or post-secondary, we'll call it, because only one was a college. The other was
I do not have a single degree.
Culinary school
but...
or something.
I've
been to 2 colleges and 1 university, no degrees.
Yeah, I never ended up getting one either. I was so close. I could have gotten one for chemistry, but I never did. I just kind of got out of it.
was very close with my anthropology recently at
Nice.
Iowa State, but I did not end up finishing. But yeah, anyway, so when we were talking about, like I was graduating from high school and I was looking at where to go for college. My plan was to go to DMAC, or Des Moines Area Community College,
Okay.
and get an Associates of Science degree, I think it was, because that would be the higher credits. So then that would be more credits to transfer. And then from there, I was going to transfer to either Iowa State or University of Iowa. I hadn't really decided which, and go for a linguistics degree.
Cool.
Yeah, because I knew I enjoyed working with like languages and stuff because I really enjoyed like Spanish.
What's your favorite thing about
But-
languages?
Probably how like the different ways of describing things in different languages can actually like affect how you think about them.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's like the half full versus half empty type thing, or even just like when you talk about like this one anthropologist, a linguistic anthropologist, he discovered, or he was studying the language around gasoline canisters from like mechanics and stuff. And he found that those who thought of it as empty were much more careless around them, whereas the ones that thought of it as full of fumes were extremely cautious and they tended to not have as many accidents.
That is cool.
Yeah, and it's just little things like that, and
Yeah.
technically it's the same thing, right? It's empty of the liquid, but it is full of fumes.
There's
It's full
something.
of air. So
Vessa
I mean,
says, Bree Badger, I've got 5 degrees. I could lend you one.
oh, that'd be nice.
Bachelor of Science.
Unload.
I don't know what I would do
PhDs.
with it. I'm just a
I would
lowly
fold it
manager at a
carefully.
Flaunt
video game
it.
store, which shall remain unnamed.
I will fold it carefully.
Yeah,
Just roll it up.
but yeah, so I mean,
Put some
it's
weed in it.
little stuff like that. That languages can, like, it adds like this weird nuance and stuff and to how people think about it, and as you like apply this more on a macro level to like different cultures and stuff, you can actually see
Yeah.
where a lot of the disconnect can happen, and like a lot of the misunderstandings can really start to come out because in the process of translating, you're also translating from that culture to the culture that you're translating to, because even if you do like a literal translation, it's not going to necessarily make sense. So you have to like add like that degree of interpretation to it and to interpret it into something that will make sense for your target audience. But yeah, so my initial plan was to go into linguistics because I enjoyed linguistics, kind of what I knew
Sounds
of it
like
at the
it.
time, which wasn't much.
You got me interested again.
Languages are
Aw.
very cool. They constantly evolve too, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
They do.
So-
It's fascinating. But yeah, so that was my initial plan. And then I'm still not entirely sure how Mom managed this, but she talked me into going to Faith Baptist Bible College instead to become a Bible
Dun,
translator,
dun,
to do something
dun.
useful.
Oh yeah, because that's
Yeah,
useful.
because being a Bible translator is so much more useful than being a linguist.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I
could
ended
have
up
been
going
an
to Faith Baptist Bible
interpreter.
College.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Travel
Actually
world.
do something useful. But you
It
can
didn't turn
interpret the
out-
Bible for people.
It wasn't until actually like after I left Faith that it occurred to me what Mom's real purpose of wanting me to go there was. She wanted me to get married like she did.
Oh. So there was
She wanted me to
some
get the MRS degree. the
ulterior
Mrs.
motives to this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she wanted me to find a good Christian man. Just like
And
she
do what
did,
with?
and just like her
And do
mother.
what with?
Because my grandmother met my grandfather there, and then their daughter, my mom, met her husband there, my dad, which my dad was the first one in the family to go to university or to go to college, on his side. So yeah. Yeah.
Did you end up going to that
didn't.
college? You
I
went
went
to that
there.
college? You ended up
Yeah, so I went there.
Did you meet your future husband like she wanted?
No, I instead made friends with a lot of other women there who were very adamant that they did not want an MRS degree, and they all graduated without getting married or having a boyfriend. In my case, I did not end up graduating. I was there for 4 years. I changed my major 3 times.
Man.
And I ended up leaving, and I was like, by the time I left, I could not have honestly signed the statement of faith, which everyone has to do in order to graduate.
Wow.
Huh.
So, but while I was at Faith Baptist Bible College, we had like, the various doctrine classes and stuff like that and everything. My first main, I think, eye-opening thing was in one of my doctrine classes, because he talked about disputed passages in the Bible. Passages which may have been added later, maybe forgeries, stuff like that.
Christian conspiracy theory
Yep.
time.
And then he put in the notes, he gave us a big long list of references, of these disputed passages, which, by the way, is definitely not all of the disputed passages. Definitely not.
No, there's literally like hundreds of them. So
Oh, yeah, entire books of the Bible. But like, yeah, exactly, Ephesians.
yeah, that's a good one right there. Yeah.
One of those was the entire the long ending of Mark, with the Great Commission. And I happened to notice that was there because he said, "Oh, it doesn't matter because no major doctrine is based on any of these passages, so it's okay that they're disputed." And I was looking at that, going, "Really? That the Great Commission is not a major doctrine?"
Yes.
Not what they told me.
I mean, granted, you can say technically the Great Commission is not just found in Mark; it's also found in Matthew, and I think Luke, and I can't remember if it's in John or not.
Well, then they all copy off each other anyways.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I mean,
Or they all copied off Matthew, I think, or Mark. I can't remember which
Luke, or they copied off Mark.
Yeah, okay.
Except for John, who definitely had access to Mark.
John was doing fucking mushrooms.
John was more. His is kind of based off Mark, but it's a rejection of Mark. If that makes sense. I don't know. Kind of like how Buddhism is like a rejection
the whole thing
of the
is fucked in
Vedas.
my head.
So yeah, it's still like a Vedic religion, but it's a rejection of the Vedas. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That was something I learned in my intro to religion class. But and our teacher was actually he specialized specifically in the Vedic scriptures and stuff. So yeah. But anyway, sorry, that's a side tangent. But yeah, so that was kind of like, so I was like, well, if we know there's disputed passages in the Bible, why don't we just take them out? Why don't we just get rid of them?
or tittle?
Right? So then I went on this little quest to find the real Bible, which
a quest
that kind of led to me no longer quite trusting scripture. So there was another one of those pillars gone, or at least not quite gone, but at least no longer trusted.
Right.
And right around this time, I started arguing with atheists on YouTube in the comment section.
Which channel?
I think initially on the Young Turks, actually.
Oh, no shit.
Oh,
I used to be over there too.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, yeah, that was because
they used to have a lot of atheist content back then.
Yes, they did. This was around it was 2010 and on. Because I remember because it was 2010 because it was Deepwater Horizon disaster. It was actually the first one of their videos that I found. Because I was looking for more information on it. But I needed it also to be short and something that I could watch when it was convenient for me, because I was working 2 full-time jobs at the time and getting about an average of 3 hours of sleep a night, and I was slowly
Yikes.
going insane. I do not recommend. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I started arguing with atheists in the comment section, and they kept bringing up points that I didn't know how to answer.
Weird how that
And
happened.
so I would, kind of dig into my classwork at Faith Baptist Bible College, and I couldn't find an answer. And I'd kind of talk to people, and I'd kind of probe and stuff. I didn't want to make it sound like I didn't believe, because to me, there's
Right.
always been a degree of performance and making sure that other people around you do not question your faith. I don't
Right.
know why exactly, but that was something I got really strong. Like a strong impression, which I probably got from my mom because she was a pastor's kid. So for her, it was all about appearances. You do not want to look like you are in any way not Christian,
Don't embarrass us.
Yep, because she didn't want to embarrass her dad, and so don't embarrass me.
Everybody's watching you
And
24/7. Don't screw up ever.
yeah.
Be a normal kid, though.
Yep. Be totally normal.
Thank you, Crystal.
Although, ironically, when her dad literally caught her skipping school, she didn't get in any trouble. He just kind of was like, really?
Don't
Whatever.
you know we don't do this?
Yeah. He just kind of was like, what class are you missing? And she was like, study hall. And he's like, fine. He was like, okay, fine.
Mr. Principal, did you know it was study hall and that shit is mad boring?
Yeah, they just sneak out the band room door.
We're out of here.
They headed over to Taco Tico, and yeah, apparently that
Oh,
was the
yeah.
best place to get tacos in Fort Dodge. So apparently still is. So yeah.
Little
Place is
hangry
still in
after
business.
class,
Yeah,
give me some tacos, man. I'm out of here. Forget the study hall.
Yeah, and that was
Taco
actually
time.
Grandpa went there, and he saw her there, and he was just like, just kind of gave her a side eye, but didn't approach them. I think because he
That's
didn't want to
funny.
embarrass her in front of her friends. And then he asked her about it later after she got home. But yeah, anyway, sorry.
That's funny.
So basically I kind of was in the process of my investigating and stuff. I was kind of basically, I got to the point where the majority of the beliefs, like on that statement of faith that, I was taught to believe in,
Right.
I kind of just ended up rejecting most of them because they didn't stand up. They didn't hold up. There wasn't any evidence or any proof. The Bible can be interpreted many different ways on those subjects if you just look for it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's many different ways of interpreting them. So while I still largely considered myself to be a Christian, I
Had doubts in the
wasn't.
Bible.
Yeah, I didn't really trust the Bible. And the more I learned about the history of Christianity, the more I learned that a lot of the traditions and stuff that we have in various churches and everything are actually not at all based on the Bible, which for a Baptist, that's a huge thing, because oh my God, how can you not everything should be based on the Bible, sola scriptura and all that, because they very much cling to that sola scriptura idea. So it was like, once I saw that, I was like, well, there's no real reason to do any of this. And I think for me, the biggest, one of the biggest points of confusion was when I saw one of my professors, because I worked at Long John Silver's for 2 months before I got the fuck out of there.
Sure, that was fun.
Oh,
AKA
minimum
hell.
wage.
Seafood joint, isn't it?
It was
Yeah.
minimum wage.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And it was just
It's so much work. A restaurant is so much work.
I know.
So
And
much
that's
work.
the only time I've ever worked fast food, and I will never do it again.
Oh yeah, you're you have been burned.
I don't care that McDonald's is now hiring at $15 an hour in my town.
Keep
I
it.
will not work there.
Keep
Yeah.
all of your money. I do not want
I
to be in
did
that kitchen.
McDonald's when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Not once, twice.
But I happened to work there during Lent. That was one of
Oh,
those. That was part of those 2 months that I worked
Oh
there. At Long John Silver's. So
no.
every Friday was massive fucking line out the door.
Yeah. No
And I
meat.
was
So they
very
gotta have fish.
surprised when all of a sudden I saw one of my professors there. And I was like, because I was like, why the hell would you be at Long John Silver's on a Friday night during Lent? Because it's like, on one hand, it's like, you must really fucking want Long John Silver's,
With this
want
long ass
fish,
line. Yeah.
or you're there for religious reasons. Those are the two kinds of people at Long John Silver's on Friday nights on Lent, during Lent, I should say. And I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, it's Lent. And I was like, yeah.
So what are
And
you
you're
doing
not
here?
Catholic. And he's like, he seemed so confused at the idea that non-Catholics shouldn't practice Lent. And I was just sitting there like, I don't see any reason why anyone who isn't a Catholic would practice Lent.
yeah,
Although
no
I guess
kidding.
apparently Lutherans do it too still, so, which I didn't know at the time.
Who voluntarily removes their bacon and burgers from their Friday menu.
It's weird. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that was just kind of another one of those things. So yeah, by the time I left Faith Baptist Bible College, I was just like, I barely consider myself a Christian at this point. And then within like the next year, I had transitioned into deism. Oddly enough, I was still a young Earth creationist because
Hmm.
that shit goes deep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
It is hard to
it's
root
a
that
lot
shit
of
out.
you gotta learn a lot of shit to get yourself out of that.
And those they really hammered into you the little blocks and the mental, gymnastics and everything. And it's railroaded into you as a fact of life. It has to be that way. And even though I had learned about evolution, I mean it was public school, so it was still kind of shit education. But I mean, it was still like all compartmentalized, learned for the test, and then forgotten.
What the hell happened
Right.
there? Sorry,
Oh.
I don't know what the hell I did there.
Yeah. So,
Close
and
up
yes,
on Neil.
I'm aware it's not biblical too. Yes. Sorry, I saw a native atheist comment there. But so it took a while to root that out of my head, and it took me actually. So I took like a year off school, and then I went to DMAC, Des Moines Area Community College, and I ended up having to take a biology class and an anthropology class at the same time. Anthropology 101, I think it was what I chose for my humanities. And so I was learning actual like evolution, like the biology and different mechanisms and stuff in biology class. And then in anthropology class, one of the books that was required reading was Harry A. Coyne's Why Evolution is True. Between the two of those, bye. No more young Earth creationism, no more deism. Because once I got to like the actual facts of like what we have found in fossil records and everything else, and what we
genetics,
know and all that, and
which
all
was
that,
the linchpin of it all.
yeah, and everything, all of that is just like, oh, well, I don't see a need for a God here, so why would we put one there? And once I don't see a need for a God, why insist that I believe in a God? And and it's you might be like, oh well, astronomy or like the Big Bang, stuff like that. And I'm like, well, if we don't, I was always told that we need one for creation, or for biology. Well, and it turned out that was bullshit. So why would I then just stick God in somewhere else where he's probably not needed either? I don't need to actually know all the details to know that he's probably not needed. It's just the God of the gaps. Why would I
Yep,
why
God
would I
buddy.
insist that there must be a
Spread a
God
little in
when
here, a little in here.
yeah. So it was just like as soon as I accepted that and accepted that, like evolution and like the fact that God is not necessary for life to be here, then it was like, okay, I'm an atheist now, I guess.
Because then you just realize you're like you start dismantling the thing that you're holding in your hand, and then after a little while you look at your hand, you're like, this is fucking empty.
Yeah.
I'm putting my
Yeah.
fucking arm down now. Like this
Yeah.
is I'm not
Yeah.
holding anything.
Yeah. And it was just kind of like a little bit of a, oh, okay then. And and then yeah, I don't know. So that was that. Um, I kind of just sort of like, and then like I still held on to like a lot of the conservative beliefs and stuff, like politically and all that. And for like I think another couple years. And then like I think it was 2008. No, it wasn't 2008. No. It was after that because Turks first. And then but I think it was about 2011, 2012. Because I ended up because I was still watching TYT at this point. So I was seeing all this stuff, and I was sitting here and like, well, why do I think that? Why do I hold this political position? And it's like, well, if it was based in the Christianity I was raised in, is there any other reason to hold that position? And most of the time there wasn't. So I just kind of let it go. And now I'm a flaming communist. So
Of course.
yeah.
Just for the record, yes, Oscar the Grouch was orange in season 1 because the most TVs back then were black and white, and orange showed up better.
Right. Yeah.
So
Same reason
it
why
wasn't until
the
the
Addams.
second season that they made him green.
Sorry. Yeah, that's the same reason why the 1950s Addams Family, like everything was pink on the set,
Yeah.
like bright pink. And it's fascinating.
I don't know if you know this, but Henson's original concept for Oscar, he was supposed to be magenta.
Ooh.
You can go back to that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well. He just got a dye job. It's fine.
Who doesn't?
Right. It's normal to dye your hair.
I've had this fur for so long.
Leave him green. It's better green, anyways.
Yeah,
looks like,
it does
like
fit
a big
with
wad
the
of
living in a
weed.
trash can thing, and I don't know.
He looks like something grown out of a trash can.
Yeah, exactly.
Some sentient bush.
Yeah.
These Long John Silver things going on.
They love
that he's an Episcopalian. I said he's an Episcopalian, is what he is.
Neil, it's a pescatarian. Come on now.
Whatever.
Only eating fish that eat other fish.
Cass is like, I need to re-dye my hair. Going for magenta?
Do a magenta streak because of this conversation. And only because of that.
All right.
Do it.
Good to see Chris back in the chat too. Daily Atheist morning show, by the way, guys. So
yeah. Welcome back there, Chris. So I think we're about ready for the final question there.
All right.
If you could go back and talk to believer you, whisper something in your ear, knowing what you know now, what would you tell him?
Get the fuck out.
That I got the other cat up here now. That actually is a good question. And yes, Aunt Chair, I do. Milk North's my partner. He's literally in the other room.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Cat butt. Yeah.
Yes, cat butt.
Get to the chopper. Go.
Get out.
Get out. Go.
See, the thing is, I think I would probably bring up the miracle in Joshua, the sun standing still in the sky.
Yeah.
Because I remember that being a massive,
ridiculous.
So like I kind of skipped over this, but like it was. So like we learned that in Sunday school. We covered it in Sunday school. The week after, we had just talked about the heliocentric system in school, which, mind you, the school run by the church.
And they finally admitted the heliocentric.
Oh yeah, no, they never had a problem with that. That was
Catholics.
And Earth is a sphere.
That's from like the year 400.
Yeah.
No firmament.
So I knew by this point that the Earth rotated around the sun, and that the reason for the day-night cycle is because the Earth is spinning.
Right.
And So I also knew I had a very rudimentary understanding of Newton's first law of motion. An object in
Mhm.
motion continues in motion until another force acts upon it.
Correct.
And I could not have told you any of that, but I understood that when I'm in a car and mom slams on the brakes, if it weren't for that seatbelt, I'd go flying forward.
Mhm.
Same basic principle.
Mhm.
So when we covered the sun suddenly standing still in the sky, my little head, like at like what was this, like 8 or 9 years old or something, was like, oh, so the Earth stopped spinning, and then I was like, uh,
Wait a minute.
everyone on the
We'd all be
battlefield would go
dead.
flying, like all the
No, we'd all
animals,
be dead.
we'd all be dead.
The tsunami would be miles high.
Yes, and so I could not wrap my head around it. And I really, really struggled to believe it was literally true.
Yeah.
I tried to. I tried to think of all different ways it could work. Would not work. And eventually I just had to give up and just push it out of my head, and just not think about it. Because thinking about it made me literally dizzy.
Right.
And everyone else around me, they had no problems accepting it and understanding it, including the kids who were in my same school class. So they knew the exact same things I did. So I'm sitting here going, it makes sense to you guys? How does it make sense? I don't understand. Again, it was a what's wrong with me moment,
Right.
because I wasn't understanding something everyone around me was. And so, of course, I was not going to bring this up to anybody. I wasn't going to ask any questions. And I finally asked my mother years later, after I was already an atheist, because I was basically trying to kind of make the argument that, well, not everything in the Bible can be literally true, and I brought up the sun standing still in the sky in Joshua. And she was like, oh, no, it did. And I was like, how? I was like, and
No.
I literally spelled out, the issue with like gravity, with centrifugal
Yeah.
force, with, Newton's first law of motion, all that. And she just kind of looked at me and she goes, it was a miracle. To
Well,
her,
there
it
you
was
Yeah, it was
go.
a
literally that
miracle
simple.
nobody died.
And I just looked at her and I was like, you might as well just say it was magic. And she's like, it was a miracle. Miracle and magics are different, and she got all fussy
No.
with me and stuff. And I was just like, oh, so
Oh
if
boy.
I had actually spoken up and actually asked that question when I was a kid, that's the answer I would have gotten. And that was, to me, kind of an eye-opening moment where I was like, this is something that they literally just don't think about. They don't actually think through how these things are supposed to actually play out. And
Right.
it's a miracle. We just accept it and move on.
Like, what's the consequence of what you just told me? Like, the sun
I'm
stopped.
like,
Oh, okay. So the earth stopped spinning. Oh, and nothing happened.
yeah,
Nope. Oh,
yeah. So yeah, like if I were to talk to younger believing me, I would bring up the sun standing still in the sky from Joshua. And I would, kind of talk them through it and be like, hey,
Hey, fair. Thank you.
there's
That's fair.
no way that could have literally happened. So, and if that could have not literally happened, what else in the Bible did not literally happen? Maybe you should investigate that.
Yeah, and tell them to look up the definition of miracle in the dictionary too, by the way.
magic.
Something impossible that happens, which doesn't happen. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Bree, it's been awesome. We've gone well past the hour.
Oops. Sorry.
Well worth the wait, I think everybody would say.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to do an after party, guys. So if you want to be involved, you can let us know and we'll get a link to you. If not, you just want to watch, there should be a link to the after party. Actually, I don't think I put it there. That's okay.
Hold on.
It will come up at the end of the credits. So you can also click on that and then go, I'll fix that.
Just sit back and put your feet up. It's already taken care of.
Woo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it'll pop up one way or another. I didn't put it there. No.
No.
I think it's an old one. So I probably should, fix
Hold
that.
on.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm doing it right now. Give me 1 second.
Oh, all right. Well, cool. That's cool.
I'm
That's
doing
cool.
it. I'm doing it. Just
All
gotta
right.
edit the.
Just gonna edit the whole fucking thing. All right. No.
I just gotta. I gotta sign in as you. I was like, why won't it let me just do stuff? Oh.
Oh yeah, you gotta sign in.
Yeah. I'm like, let me do it. Oh.
Hear that, YouTube? He's pretending to be me. No, it's okay. It's okay. He has my permission to do so. So
Yeah.
because he is part of this channel. So he.
And I gotta do this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He does a fucking producery kind of shit. So.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you everybody for hanging out with us. I appreciate that. Thanks to all our patrons and our members who couldn't do the show without you guys. So thank you everybody. And once again, thanks to Farron for the $4 super sticker. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
If you guys dig the tunes that you're hearing, Mikey and I both have our music links linked below, so you can check out all our stuff. Don't forget, we've got Mr. Dan Barker coming on the show on the 5th of October. I'm like, yeah, I'll totally scrap the Lego show for you, Dan. So we got Dan coming on. So we'll just do a little bit longer of a Lego show in November when early November hits, because we normally do Bricks Beyond Belief the first Saturday of every month. So just for a little change up, something a little different. You get to hear us all poking fun at a whole bunch of stuff while I build something out of Lego.
Good
And
time.
I was going to show everyone what the new one was, but Mikey won't let me.
No, it's a secret.
Well, it's not going to be a secret because it's always in the description box. I always put the link to where you can see it, the link to where you can buy it if you want it. So it's a fairly new one too. So
Well, for the after party tonight, you guys will just have to guess. So guesses in the after party.
pick one of these ones. It's not right there. So
No. They have to guess out of all of the Lego sets which one it is. We got time.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a hint. It's a newer one.
Now they're gonna just go straight to Lego and they're gonna straight to latest entries because they're cheaters. They're all cheaters.
I did get the one of the boxes. I got 2 more coming of the D&D figures they just released, and one of my favorites is the She-Devil with the little baby dragon. Isn't that cool?
Ooh,
Look at
that
that.
is cool.
That's fucking awesome.
It's pretty sick.
Got it. And I like their little stands. I put them. They got a little brick or like the stone cobblestone type roads on there. So that's pretty cool. Indeed.
All right, land the plane, Neil.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna get in an after party. You can hit the link to watch it because I think Mikey's got it in there now, or you can wait till the end of this when the credits are done or the outro is done and it'll pop up there. Is there Nerf Lego? No, there is not Nerf Lego.
Not yet.
Not yet. I prefer Nerf Lego because if you step on that in the dark, it doesn't hurt as much. But anyway, yeah. We'll see you guys over in the after party. And until next time, like I always say at the end of the interview, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
What's untangled?